Right. Good morning to all. And I want to make sure that this recording is going on. Give me 1 second. Okay, recording has been started. Okay, fine. Right. Right. I want to discuss some important area today regarding foundation for the accounting. I think you have already discussed this area in your A level even, right? But so this is a bit different from your A level because this is, I mean, when it comes to the undergraduate education or that, let's say degree and the third level education, so your teaching and learning pattern may be changed. So not like your advanced level. I just want to stress that point at the beginning. So there is no such spoon feeding here, right? You will give the guidance, you will give you that, some important areas. So after all, you have to go through by yourself and, develop your knowledge. So that is what, student-centered learning, student-centric learning. So where you have to focus and that will create the, real learning for you, right? Otherwise, spoon feeding is not a real educational, experience or platform. So therefore, if you get something by yourself, that is what exact, learning. So that will be your in permanent memory, and that will create some more innovations for you all as well. So likewise, so we are focusing and we are stressing to we are, taking you into that path. So therefore, this education system is a bit different. And again, you are in a again very new and technologically advanced, system. So with this, COVID outbreak, so then again, you are even fortunate enough to get the, online lectures. So in an advanced platform. So this is the Zoom where that all over the world this is using as a learning platform. So basically to, make the lectures via online platforms all over the world, right? So therefore you are experiencing that. So and you will be fortunate enough to get that, exposure as well from the beginning in your degree as well, right? So I am Mudit, and basically I'm a senior lecturer attached to the Department of Accountancy for last 12 years, and I'm a chartered accountant and a practitioner. So therefore, within this, my discussions, I am trying to give you the theoretical perspective plus practical perspective. So as much as possible, for you to, develop your technical skills and the professional skills and some other soft skills aspects as well, right? So because all these, blended knowledge is required and the skills and competencies are required for you to be an accountant. So before starting my discussion, I will put a question like this. So you want to make your comments, even you can talk. So one by one, or else even you can put into chat box. It's better, right? So then my question is, yes. So hopefully you all, 113 students. So in this, online lecture, it's really, interesting and, very important and wonderful. So thanks for you all being with us through this, system. So, and so my first question is, so like this is, so before starting my discussion, I want your comments on that. So accounting is not important and not needed with these technological advancements. Shall I put into this text chat box? So you can see accounting and accountants are not needed for businesses with this technological advancements, advancements. Make your comments. Make your comments. I just want to get your comments on this. So you can talk, or even you can, put your comments. This is the first learning exercise. How do you see this? Do you agree with this or not? Agree or not? Give reasons. Give reasons. So this is a argument all over the world on accounting and accountants. So I just want to get your knowledge and understanding on this. Yes, feel free to talk. Feel free to make your comments. No issue. So whether it's right or wrong, nothing called right or wrong. So as far as you can justify that. So therefore, if you can make your comments, it's fine before starting my discussion. Yes. How do you see? There are 115, fine. I would like to get some more. So out of 130, I think, no? Yes. Yes, without getting much time. Yes. Question you can see, I think, no? Question you can see. Okay. Right. Can you see now? Can you see now? Can you see now? Please tell me, can you see now? Yes. Right, fine. This is the question. How do you see? Yes. Agree. Agree means you want to justify, you want to make you want to make your answers. Why? If it is agree, if it is no, you have to. Okay, that's right. Okay, because this is what you want to understand first in this current context. Yes, just putting agree or disagree, so it's not an answer for me. So if you are agreeing, you have to make a reason. If you are not agreeing, you have to make a reason. Yes. Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. So I will get some more questions. Okay. Thank you for your comments. So now the thing is, right. Right. So this is how it goes. So as you know, already you are knowing the fact that there are a lot of accounting softwares. There are a lot of ERPs, right? Can you give some examples for accounting softwares? Sage for line 50, okay, correct. QB, QuickBook, okay. QuickBook also very popular. So small and medium scale entities in Sri Lanka, yes. Sage, okay. Yes, ECPAC, okay. Oracle, okay, fine. So yes, Mayob, Mayob. Likewise, there are some specified accounting softwares. Yes, of course, correct. So thereby what we're supposed to do, we will record everything through the software. Then tally, yes, correct. Then that software will give you the set of financial statements what you want. So therefore,
Prepare the
preparation part is out from the accountant. So that is not the basic role of the accountant. Preparation is going away with these technological developments. And even you may find the ERP systems like, even Oracle, SageLine also, they have the ERP, SAP. So there are a lot of ERPs as well, integrated enterprise resource planning, ERPs, right? So all systems integrated together. So like finance system or accounting systems, HR, marketing, everything, IT, everything, or research and development, everything. All the functions of the business are interrelated and taken into one system. That is what is called ERP, right? Enterprise resource planning. So very good example is SAP. Yeah, that all over the world that is used in more popular ERP system. So likewise, what I want to tell you from the accountant's point of view, the preparation part is going away. So few of the students mentioned, as mentioned, so where the accountant should work on, decision making, right? So accountant should support on decision making for the top level management. For that purpose, we want to give some, informations as well as give some comments, make you of recommendations. That is what required. That is what is expected from your top level management while you are working as an accountant in a business, not just preparation. That part will be done through the system, whatever the accounting software or ERP, right? So that is our challenge in the future. We want to, get financial informations and all the other informations together and make the decisions, make the recommendations, make the conclusions on what we're supposed to do in the future, forecast about the future, how to manage a risk. So that is the accountant's role in the future as well as even now, right? Even now. So what I want to tell you in the first day itself, so we want to prepare for that. We want to prepare for that. Right? ව්‍යාපාරයක තියෙන සියලු තොරතුරු සම්බන්ධ කරගෙන ව්‍යාපාරික තීරණ ගැනීම සම්බන්ධයෙන් අවශ්‍ය මූල්‍ය තොරතුරු සහ අනෙකුත් තොරතුරු සම්පාදනය කිරීමත් ඉහළ කළමනාකාරීත්වයට ඒ සඳහා දායක වීමත් තීරණ ගැනීම සඳහා දායක වීමත් ඒ සඳහා අනුමත කිරීම recommendations review පුරෝකථනයන් කිරීමත් තමයි ගණකාධිකාරිවරයාගේ කාර්යභාරය වෙන්නේ ඉදිරියේදී සහ වර්තමානයේදී. අපි එතකොට ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස්ලා විදිහට accounting ස්ටුඩන්ට්ස්ලා විදිහට accountant ලා වෙන්න වෙරදරන අය විදිහට අපි එතකොට ඒ සඳහා තමයි prepare වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ සඳහා තමයි අපේ skills knowledge competencies develop කරගන්න ඕනේ. That is what we want to do. You understand? I just explained in Sinhala from the first day itself, only for the first few weeks. So just to familiarize with the system. So basic knowledge. So that's how we should go, right? So that is our role in the future. For that, we want to familiarize. Are you okay? This is the first learning. And I just tell you this because we should prepare for this. We should develop skills and competencies and technical knowledge even to serve for that. Otherwise, we are not being, suitable for the industry, or we are not being suitable for the, work as an accountant in the business. It is simple to that. Are you clear? So if you have any comments, anything to clarify, please let me know. Are you okay? Any comments? Please type. So because I am, as you know, I am, talking to the screen. So nobody is here. So please, your comments, your, whatever the ideas, everything. So if I get through the chat box, even if you can talk and tell me, so then only I can proceed. So therefore, your comments is highly important for me to, continue my discussion. If you cannot understand, please tell me. I will, repeat that. Even if you want to tell something in Sinhala, I will tell you. So, but you want to make your comment. So I'm ready to, serve you. I'm ready to, give my fullest support for you to learn in this, model. But you want to make your comments. So feel free to make your comments, make your, your interactive participation is really important. Are you clear? Okay. Anything to be added? And again, I want to stress one more point, right? So at the moment, we are not only considering, so what I want, I mean, not only the financial informations, but also the other informations like, technological developments, the changes in the business environment, legal aspects, tax aspects, everything together. So there, because finally business will run in a business is running in a very complex environment. Therefore, financial and non-financial information together is really important for you to make the decisions. So therefore, today we are not talking about just financial reporting. We are talking about what? We are talking about business reporting. Business information reporting, not just financial reporting. So that's the broader picture. We'll discuss later on in detail. So, but just to give you the important aspects in the subject and in the discipline and in the profession at the beginning, at the outset. Are you okay? Right? So that's how we want to be prepared. I think sometimes you may heard about big data. Big data is that. So we are, considering, we are evaluating, we are, thinking about overall data of the business, not only just financial information, but also all the other informations together. We're supposed to collect and, make the evaluations and make our comments, make our recommendations, make our decisions on that. Not just restricted only for financial information. That is not our focus at the moment, right? So we have to get the big data and get the big picture about the company, so and make the decisions, right? So don't worry about the assignments and all that. So it's not our deal at the moment. So do the lecture first. So after all, you can see those things. Nothing to worry about that much on that, right? Okay. Yes. Explain in Sinhala too, because that English is not very good. But again, you have to develop your English, right? So there is no question. You have put 4 questions, but still you cannot put at least 1 question. So if you are not good in English, you have to develop that. There is no any other shortcut. There is no any other option. You have to do that. So at the moment, I can explain a little bit in Sinhala, but it is not the answer for your problem. It is not the answer for your problem. So think that even during this period, try to learn much on English. It's a must, right? Right. So just making the lectures in Sinhala is not the answer for your question or your problem, right? So I will use some comments in Sinhala as well, but it's not the answer. It's a very temporary solution. It's not a permanent answer. Permanent answer is develop your knowledge in English. So the ways and means you have to think and you have to get that, because you are capable enough to learn and you have that brain. So therefore it's only matter of just to familiarize with the language. So that is what I expect. So you have to do that, otherwise we will be in trouble throughout the 4 years, as well as even after 4 years, to find a job. So therefore those who are not in good, not only for this particular student, so those who are not in good in English, please make your serious attention on that. It's a really problem for your future if you are not uh, sort out this problem. So I don't say that you cannot, you can, because you have the capacity, you have that brain, you have that knowledge. Only thing is just to familiarize with that. So you have to do that. There are a lot of students, those who came for the university without knowing, uh, without much familiar with English, but still they are able to manage by developing their English. So in different ways, maybe going for a classes, maybe listening to English news, and reading for newspapers, writing for the in English, but whatever the things, there are a lot of ways and means of getting there. Please think about that very seriously. It's a must. Right. Right. So with that, shall I move on to our discussion? Right. So today what I'm trying to do you is, uh, what you want to do is, today what I'm trying to do is, I want to discuss your course outline as well. I think already you got all these materials, and more importantly, I want to discuss the base for accounting. What is the base for accounting? What is the base? What is the foundation for accounting? Please tell me. Are you knowing that? Yes? Any message? Business transactions. Okay. Debit credit. Double entry system. Okay. Accounting equation. Okay. So all yes. Debit credit transactions. All yes. So it's a part of very good foundation for accounting, right? But again, so another important point is, yes, I will accept your answers, but what I want to tell you, the conceptual framework in accounting. Have you heard about conceptual framework? Yes, I think we have done some basic aspects in conceptual framework in your A level as well, right? Why? Why? Conceptual framework is talking about what? Please tell me. So my teaching and learning pattern is a bit different, right? So I'm not going with all the PowerPoint slides and all that. In different way I'm using to give you the the subject. I don't know whether you accept that, but it's different. right? So what do we talk about in the conceptual framework? You have any idea? Basic concepts about accounting. Please tell me what are the basic concepts. Tell me. This is what you have did your A level, advanced level. Yes. Can you give those concepts? Going concern, entity concept, the guidelines is that needed in order to prepare the financial statements, accounting principles. Okay. You are having some idea, but not that much clear. Money measurement concept. Okay. Okay. Actually, conceptual framework is talking about very important areas like this. So I have already uploaded all these things, right? So you can go through with that. The objective of general purpose financial reporting, right? The objective of general purpose financial reporting. Then qualitative characteristics of useful financial informations, right? Then financial statements and the reporting entity. Then the elements of financial statements, right? Recognition and derecognition of these elements and the measurement as well. How to measure. So these are the main types we are talking in conceptual framework. Conceptual framework to understand the objectives of financial reporting, the objectives of general purpose financial statements, the elements of financial statements, the components of financial statements. So likewise, a lot of things you will discuss through the conceptual framework. So this information, these important principles, basics, give the guidance for whole accounting process or reporting process. This is the basis, or this is the base, right? That's what I want to tell you. This is the base, right? Right. So I will take one by one. Right. So I think you are clear on what I try to discuss today. So I will take one by one. Right. So basically, tell me what is accounting? What is accounting? You all are aware on this. What is accounting? What do you supposed to do in accounting? Please tell me. Already you have discussed those things in your A level. Yes. Right. Yes. What is accounting? Yes. Feel free to make a comment. What is accounting? What's your idea on accounting? What is happening in accounting? Yes, you may have the idea. You did accounting for last 2 years. Even now you are working with professional exams as well, professional courses. Providing financial information to the stakeholders. Okay. Communicate information to decision makers. Okay. So yes, that will be the outcome. So what is the process? I think so. You all are knowing the fact that accounting is a process. So accounting is having three. So any process is having three aspects, three elements. What is that? Input, then process or the functions, then outcome or the output. What is input? What's input? Resources. What resources? What's the input? Transactions. Is it only transactions? You should be specific and you should be clear. Input is transactions and events. Transactions and events. Not only transactions, events. There was a fire. So as a result of damaged your warehouse stock, let's say 1 million. Fire is a transaction, no event. Fire in the warehouse is a transaction or event. It's an event. So then are you worrying about the events as well? Yes. Are you accounting for the events? Yes. Only thing is, so whether it's a transaction or event, we have to make sure whether it can be measured in terms of money or in terms of value. That's why money measurement concept is coming in. So all the transactions and events that can be measured in terms of money can be recorded. Those are the transactions and events that can be recorded in the set of financial statements or set of, taken into the accounting process. Right. So that's the input. You should be clear and correct, right? And specific on these things, not just put transactions, then you don't get the marks like your A level. So it should be transactions and events that can be measured in terms of money measurement or in terms of money, right? Data, no. Data, no. Right. Then what is your process? What is your functions in accounting? What are the functions in accounting? Just to give you some insights. Preparation of financial statements. Are you starting from that point? Wrong. What are the functions? Yes, yes, what are the functions? Yes. Collecting data, analysis, identifying, okay. Measure, reporting, Mohammed, please mute your, okay. Reporting, bookkeeping. So you are going here and there, it's all right. But you should be specific, right? So from where you have to start? You have to identify. You have to identify the transactions and events. Then identify, recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, interpreting, and communication. So these are the general, steps. You have to identify the transactions, then you have to record, classify whether this is, sales transaction, whether this is purchase, whether this is cash basis or, credit basis. You have to do the different reconciliations or classifications. Then summarize. How do you summarize? Can you give me some example for summarization? Give me some examples for summarizing. How do you summarize? Please tell me. Hurry up. How do you summarize? Trial balance, yes. Yes. Making a balance sheet also correct. So very good. Summarizing total is trial balance, correct? Because all the closing balances are mentioned or specified in the TB. So that reflects all the ledger account balances. Yes. How do you do the analysis and interpretation? How do you do the analysis and interpretation? Very important. That is what you want to do in the future, as I mentioned earlier. How do you do the analysis and interpretation? Analysis and interpretation. Can you give me some examples for analysis and interpretations? Okay, very good. Ratios. So we will learn a lot of ratios here. So not like your advanced level. So ratios, trend analysis, horizontal analysis, vertical analysis. You will discuss those things in the future in detail. So that will give you a lot of analysis. And interpretations. Ratios have been interpreted. You know, current ratio tells you what? How your cash and other liquid assets have been invested in your current liabilities. So to what extent it is liquidated, to what extent your current assets are important to set off your current liabilities. That's the interpretation. It should be 1 to 2 or 2 to 1, whatever the ratio. It's up to you to decide, or the top level management to decide what should be the ratio. So make sure that your liquid assets are being in the business in order to make your settlements for current liabilities. So that is the interpretation where you want to do. That will create a real value for the management to make the decisions. Right. So then finally you want to do the communication to the all stakeholders. All stakeholders. How? Through what? Through what? Yes, correct. Exactly correct. Through financial statements. So now you understand what do you mean by financial statements? What does it tell? What does it tell? Financial statements? What does it tell? What do those financial statements talking about? Tell me. What are the components of financial statements? What are the components of financial statements? Okay. It talks about the financial position, financial performance. Okay, fine. Okay. Cash flow situation of the business. Okay, fine. Yes. Changes in equity. Okay. Yes, correct. So, yes. Right. So, your answers are correct. Right. So, I think you are clear on this. Right. These are the functions. And finally, you get the set of, as the output, set of financial statements. So, those are components of financial statements. So through those financial statements, all financial and non-financial informations, basically the financial informations are being communicated to the stakeholders. So now my next question is, who is responsible on preparation and fair presentation of financial statements? Who is responsible? Who is responsible? Is it the owners, shareholders, board of directors, finance manager? Okay. Board of directors. Yes. Management. Yes. Yes. Board of directors, including management, is responsible. Right? Yes. So especially the accountants and finance manager, director of finance, they are in this process. But overall, all board of directors are responsible, including the top level management. So on this, that's why if you see the annual report, please take annual report by next week. So I will upload even to the LMS. So in the annual report, who is signing? Who is signing on that? Who is signing for the annual report? I mean, at the end of the statement of financial position, who is signing? Two directors, CEOs, maybe, yes. Representing the whole board of directors, maybe the CFOs, Maybe so director finance, right? Who is responsible? So sign in by that even director finance, chief accountant, maybe CFO, chief financial officer, yes, maybe. So, but whole board of directors are responsible on that. That's why they are signing on that, right? So at the moment, I am not going to talk about the auditor's role. So by next, year, so with the audit and assurance subject, we will understand what's the auditor's role on this, right? So I'm not going to discuss at that point. So those things now, at that point, I will discuss those things, right? Right. So you are clear on this. I'm not taking everything. So you can go through with these things and it's up to you to decide, right? So please go through with this. I'm not going to discuss about bookkeeping and accounting. What's the difference between you can go through and get the basic knowledge on that, right? So, and just to, make a comment on who are the end users of accounting informations, who are the end users, use some, users of financial information or stakeholders, okay, shareholders, what else? Lenders, okay, employees, customers, investors, government, okay. Again, investors, potential investors. What do you mean by potential investors? So those who supposed to make the investments in the future as well, right? General public, customers, creditors, tax officers, okay. There are a lot, right? Now the very important question will arise. What's the question? Oh, what's the important point here? The point is that who is running the business? Who is running the business? Who is running the business? Please tell me. Who is running the business? Management, including board of directors. Okay. Customers is not running the business. It's a marketing point of view. So they are the king. But the resources are being employed and, resources are being utilized by the management, including the board of directors. They will make all the decisions and run the business, right? Okay. Right. Then who is preparing the financial statements as well? Now, as you mentioned, board of directors and management. Okay. So then another point, right? Who is investing their resources in the business? Who are investing the resources for the business? Shareholders. So therefore, now you will identify the relationship. What's the relationship? On behalf of the shareholders or the owners of the company, the management, including board of directors, are employ the resources and run the business in order to in order to in order to give the benefit for the shareholders. In simple terms, that's the relationship. Therefore, shareholders are the principal, right? Employees and the top level management and the board of directors are the who? Agents. Agents, correct. Agents. So therefore, now you will identify agent and principal relationship. And again, my next question is, there is an agency cost. So basically, for the agents, we have to pay what? We have to pay what? We have to pay what? Salary. Salary and wages. Yes, correct. So Therefore, from the agent's point of view, from the employees, including management and board of directors, they are expecting higher salary. Yes or no? They are expecting higher salary. Yes or no? Yes. Once you increase or once you pay the salary, your bottom line profit, what can happen? What can happen? If you increase the salary, profit can decrease. Profit can decrease. If the profit is going to be decreased or reduced, so what we supposed to pay for the shareholders? Dividends. Shareholders are expecting dividends, increase in the value of the share of the company. That is what shareholders are expecting. That part will be going down. If the profit is going down, the dividend where the shareholders can pay also going down, as well as the value of the share also going down. Right? So therefore, now you understand there is a contradictory relationship. Paraspara virodhi sambandhavyak thiyena. Inverse relationship. What we have learned in demand and price, what you call the demand theory in economics, mila saha illum pramane neda. Mila වැඩි වෙනකොට illum ප්‍රමාණය අඩු වෙනවා. මිල අඩු වෙනකොට illum ප්‍රමාණය වැඩි වෙනවා. Inverse relationship එකක් තියෙනවා. Likewise here also you have a what? What? Here also you have a inverse relationship, contradictory relationship, paraspara virodhi, negative relationship. So therefore there should be some compromisation of both, because employees should get a salary, reasonable salary for their mental effort, human effort. It's all right. But we want to make sure that shareholders are also not getting, reasonable dividends and the value per share for their investments. You understand the relationship, right? Right. So I just give you the basic knowledge on how businesses are working on, because these informations, this knowledge is really important for you to analyze financial informations, for you to make decisions in your decision making process as an accountant. For you to do that, so we are supporting you to develop those skills through the subjects. Right. Okay. Right. Now my next question, with that background, so lot of parties are involved in a business. So that is what is called stakeholders, right? Lot of different parties, different interested parties are involved in. So that is what is called stakeholders, right? Stakeholders. So you can, yes, right. So therefore, next point is, all these stakeholders are making the decisions about the business by looking at what? By looking at your financial statements. Financial statements, correct. Looking at financial statements. Looking at financial position. Looking at financial performance and the cash flows of the business and different, other financial informations. So they will make the decisions about the business. So then next important point is, so as the accountants, as the board of directors, as the management, when we are preparing the financial statements, we have to prepare those financial statements based on blah, blah, blah. What? Fill the blank. Based on what? Based on standards. So not the exact answer, wrong. So in the undergraduate education, this is wrong. Not the exact answer. Based on what? Conceptual framework. Based on conceptual framework. Based on what? Principles, conceptual framework, LKS standards. Based on finance information, what? Okay. So your answers have been welcome. Accounting standards and accounting principles. Right. Historical information. Nothing called historical at the moment. Based on applicable financial reporting framework. Write it down. Applicable financial reporting framework. Have you heard about this? Based on applicable financial reporting framework. What do you mean by applicable financial reporting framework? So applicable financial reporting framework means accounting standards plus accounting standards plus. So if you say accounting standards, all SLFRSs, all LKSs are applied, are relevant, are incorporated. Plus other rules and regulations that are applicable for that particular business. Simple example, I will tell you. For a bank, so we will find all accounting standards they want to comply with, all applicable accounting standards they want to comply with, plus other rules and regulations stipulated by the central bank, they want to comply with that as well, right? So because there are some other rules and regulations stipulated by the central bank as well for the banking company or banking business, even for a finance company, they want to comply with that. Therefore, that is what exactly applicable financial reporting framework. So they want to comply with the applicable financial reporting framework. They want to prepare the financial statements as per the applicable financial reporting framework. So it means very simply, all the applicable accounting standards plus other rules and relevant regulations that are stipulated by different governing bodies or regulatory bodies. As I mentioned, central bank for the banks and finance companies, for insurance companies, insurance board is there, right? For likewise, different regulatory bodies are there. For let's say for PLCs, PLCs registered in CSC. Then again, apart from that normal rules and regulations, they want to comply with the Securities and Exchange Commission requirements as well. Securities and Exchange Commission requirements as well. So they want to comply with the corporate what do you call that, corporate governance requirements as well, right? So likewise, there are a lot of rules and regulations that will come into play for different entities, different nature of entities. So then they want to comply with that as well once they are making the reporting. So therefore, keep in mind, just accounting standard is not enough. They want to comply with accounting standards plus other applicable rules and regulations that are stipulated by the regulatory bodies. That is what is called exactly the financial statements should be prepared in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. Again, I am repeating the same. The financial statements to be prepared based on applicable financial reporting framework. Are you clear? Are you clear? Right. So if you want to write it down anything, please write it down. Right. So nobody here to tell you this should be written, this should be highlighted, this should be underlined. No, not like your advanced level. If you feel this is important for me, yes, highlight, underline, whatever you want to do. So as I mentioned in the morning, so this is a bit different from your spoon feeding A-level education, right? Okay, fine, very good, right? Hope you all are okay, right? So yes, very good. There are 111 students, earlier 113. So they out of 130, very good. And hopefully we are expecting this, increased number. So by next week, some more to get the maximum out of our discussions. So apart from that, I will, upload this lecture for your LMS. If you want, you can go through with that. Please go through with that and, refresh your knowledge as well. Right. So why this, why this requirement while you are preparing the financial statements? As I mentioned earlier, these financial statements prepared in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. So that included accounting standards, including conceptual framework, including all rules and regulations that are applicable, right? So while doing so, it is emphasizing the management. It is forcing the management to prepare the financial statements in a proper way, in a correct way, in an accurate way. Why? These financial statements are being referred, are being used by lot of stakeholders, as you mentioned, maybe the shareholders, maybe the government, maybe the tax authorities, maybe lenders, maybe the banks, maybe the customers, maybe the potential investors. There are a lot of people who are looking at these financial statements. So therefore, in very simple form, these financial statements should be correct. They should be accurate. They should be prepared in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. That's a requirement. You understand? That's why your conceptual framework, revised conceptual framework, which will be effective from 2020 January 1st or 1st of January 2020. I'm referring on that revised conceptual framework, right? So talking about qualitative characteristics of financial information. Qualitative characteristics of financial information. What are the fundamental qualitative characteristics? What are the fundamental qualitative characteristics in financial information? Tell me. So what we have learned is correct. No change even in the revised conceptual framework on that. Relevance and faithful representation. Absolutely correct. Very good. Relevance and faithful representation. Right? What do you mean by relevance and faithful representation? Right? The financial information should be relevant for our decision making, capable enough to make our decisions. That's the relevance. Faithful representation is talking about unbiased, free from errors, and one more thing is there. But it talks about basically the accurate financial information. So we want to record this, relevant and accurate financial informations as per the relevant accounting standards and other rules and regulations. Then only the other stakeholders can make the decision based on our financial reports or financial statements. Otherwise, what can happen if our recording is not correct? What can happen? The decisions where the public will get, where the stakeholders are getting is wrong, incorrect, inappropriate. Yes or no? Yes or no? If you are making the manipulations to the financial statements, if you are doing some incorrect informations, if you are incorporating some incorrect informations, some frauds in the financial statements, what can happen? What can happen? The financial statements what you are preparing is wrong. So people who are making the decisions based on these financial statements are getting wrong. Is it good? Is it ethical? No. But practically those things are happening. So simple example is, the accountants and the top level management is reducing the profit in order to reduce the tax liability. These are very frequent methods or frequent efforts of reducing tax. Let's say you reduce the profit by doing a lot of things, right? So accountants are doing those things in order to reduce the tax liability, because your top level management is telling you, yes, as an accountant you have to reduce our profit in order to reduce our tax payments. Those things are there, but it is unethical. It is not correct. That's why auditors are there. So for check those things and, in simple terms, check those things and, make their comments and, rectify those errors and frauds, right? Are you clear? That's why qualitative characteristics are coming into play, right? You understand why these things are coming into play. So basically, as you mentioned, there are two types of qualitative characteristics of financial information: relevance and faithful representation. Then enhancing qualitative characteristics. Tell me, enhancing qualitative characteristics. Tell me, what are the enhancing qualitative characteristics? Again, there are four: verifiability, timeliness, understandability, comparability. Exactly correct. Okay. Yes, correct. All these things are explained in this tude, so it's up to you to go through with that. I will give you the most important aspects in this discussion through this discussion, right? So you will given the end users, there is a some list. And again, another important, okay, before moving to this, uh, you see qualitative characteristics, as you mentioned: relevance, faithful representation, and enhancing qualitative characteristics: comparability, verifiability, and timeliness and understandability. I think you are clear on this, right? Okay, right. So with that, again, I am moving to the point I want to discuss now. Right. So as you know, just to tell you something on different types of accounting, models or branches of accounting. So as you know, there are two types of, or two or three types of accounting, basically. Please tell me. Some are making a comment. Two types. What is that? What is that? Two branches of accounting. What is that? Two or three? Financial management, management account, financial management, and costing. It is wrong. Financial. It is wrong. Management accounting and financial accounting. Three. Yes. Some are not clear with that. Yes. Financial and management accounting. Yes. 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 Right. Please make you clear. There are only two. So management, financial accounting and management accounting. Please make you clear by yourself. There are only two: financial accounting and management accounting. So some are telling that costing also different branch. No, cost accounting also part of management accounting, right? What is the difference between financial accounting and management accounting? What's the difference between financial accounting and management accounting? Yes. What's the difference? Users. Okay. Okay. Tell me. Yes. Users may be different. Financial accounting is basically for, external users or, different external parties. Management account is more focused on internal users and internal decision making process, right? So informations also, yes, correct. So basically management information, we are talking about the future as well, present, past, and the future as well. But financial information is talking only about present and past situation. Focus also may be different, correct? So focus So in financial accounting, we are focusing overall entity, overall business as one entity. But management accounting, you can prepare the statements, everything for some units, some products, some departments likewise. So you do that, right? So, and again, financial account is totally, we have to comply with, as I mentioned earlier, applicable financial reporting framework. That is basically the accounting standards and other rules and regulatory requirements, right? But for management accounting reports, there is no such need. There is no such need, and there is no such legal requirement for management accounting, but financial accounting for a company, definitely you have to maintain your financial statements. It's a compulsory requirement. Okay. So likewise, we will find the differences. Why accounting is needed? Already I have discussed. I'm not taking much time on that. To keep systematic records, to protect business properties, to ascertain the operational profit or loss, to ascertain the financial position, and to facilitate rational decision making. So all these things we have already learned. Please go through with these things, right? Those are important points. Right. As you know, so we are preparing the financial statements based on applicable financial reporting framework. But again, so applicable financial reporting means so accounting standards plus other rules and regulations. But again, in accounting, we will find another very important aspects, basically accounting concepts. Those are fundamental aspects in accounting. If I mention the word fundamental, it's appropriate. Why? So in accounting, these fundamental principles are prevailing, right? So join handing with all accounting standards. As you know, one of the important, there are some important accounting concepts here, but this is not the full set, but there are some more as well. Business entity concept or accounting entity concept. It talks about what? Very fundamental principle. Owners and the or the business owners and the business is totally two different parties. Two different parties. Yes or no? That is Vyapara Ekaka Sankalpi, business entity concept. Right? Right. Just to tell you the basic points on that. Right. You will given all the examples and everything. Money measurement, already I have discussed. So transactions and events, but again, we have to make sure that we will record what? Transactions and events that can be measured in terms of money. So money measurement will come into play. Periodicity. What do you mean by periodicity? Right. And again, another important point is there again that has been discussed in the conceptual framework. So while management is preparing the financial statements, we are making a basic assumption that financial statements, the business is continuing for the what? Business is continuing for the foreseeable future. Very good. Very good. Foreseeable future. Business is continuing for the foreseeable future. It means, in simple words, for a longer period of time. Yes or no? For a longer period of time. Right? For a longer period of time. Then my question is, so can you wait until the business closed down to prepare the financial statements? No. That's how periodicity concept will come into play. That's how periodicity concept will come into play, right? So this longer period, the foreseeable future will be or is being classified or segregated into some specified periods. Basically, we will take financial year. So in our context, in Sri Lankan context, our financial year is starting from which date to which date? From 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 yes, 1st April to 31st March. Actually, this is the tax period. This is what is called tax year of assessment as well. So based on that, because tax payments we should do in Sri Lankan context based on this period. So as a result of that, most of our companies also, so getting this financial period as a financial year, right? Right. So that's how this comes. So that is what is exactly periodicity. The whole period we will taken into some specified periods basically for 1 year. So there is no such rule. Even you can prepare the financial statements monthly, annually, semi-annually, quarterly. So you have a lot of options. But annual financial statements for a company is a compulsory requirement, right? And realization of income, that's also a very important concept. And again, this will be discussed in detail. So with the accounting standard FRF 15, right? And another important point is consistency. Sangata bhave, Sangata tave, right? So we cannot change our accounting policies, principles the way that we want. That is what is called consistency. We have to maintain the consistency. We have to maintain the uniformity. We cannot change the way that we want, right? There should be a justification. So these, changes will create a good picture about what we are having at the moment. So if we can justify that part, only you can move on to that, changes to the system or policies or principles. Otherwise, we cannot. Because consistency is compulsory for what? For you to do the comparison, right? Comparison, right? Right? Right. Dual aspect, yes. For any transaction, there is a dual aspect, So, if you do transaction, then asset can increase. So, another asset can reduce. So, asset can increase, liability can increase. Likewise, you have a dual implication. So, the account equation. I'm not going to discuss the account equation. So, obviously, so dual aspect will talk in the account equation, right? I'm not going to discuss that. And matching concept, cost and revenue should be matched. So in against the revenue, cost should be matched. That's why you have the sales. So then again you have the purchases as a cost. So that matching should be there. So income is there, then the relative expenses should be there. It should be there, right? Right. So these are the basic principles I want to discuss through this, discussion. Then again, some important points I have already discussed with the conceptual framework. I will so move on to the conceptual framework with the basic knowledge what we have at the moment, and further elaborated with this, tutorial as well. Right. So already, one of the main or one of the co-product, in accounting is the conceptual framework that gives the foundation for financial reporting, right? So as you see in the note, the conceptual framework of financial reporting describes the objectives and the concept for general purpose financial reporting. The purpose of the conceptual framework is two. So what are the three? There are mainly three purposes. So you see, assist the Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka to develop Sri Lanka accounting standards that are based on consistent concepts, right? So how conceptual framework will help you? Assist, prepare us to develop consistent accounting policies when no standard applies to a particular transaction or event, or when standard allows choice of accounting policy. So simply, so for the Institute of Chartered Accountants Council, so for them to develop the accounting principles and standards, this conceptual framework help them. And again, if there is no such accounting standards for the preparers like accountants, this conceptual framework give you the guidance. Yes, if you don't have an account standard, yes, look at this, conceptual framework, and based on the conceptual framework you have to prepare the set of financial information, set of financial statements. Another important point, assist all parties to understand and interpret the standards. Assist all parties to understand and interpret the standards. So this is again very important, purpose of the conceptual framework. So therefore you understand there are three types of main purposes of accounting, conceptual framework. Okay, right. Right. So then I'm moving to the objective of general purpose financial reporting. Objective of, keep clear by yourself, general purpose financial reporting. What do you mean by general purpose financial reporting? What do you mean by general purpose financial reporting? What do you mean by general purpose financial reporting? Financial statements we are preparing for the general requirements. Generally accepted requirements. So it does mean that there are some financial statements we are preparing for the special purposes. If you understand that, you will understand the general purpose. So if you are prepare the financial statements on cash basis, then that is for special purpose. Tax basis, that is for another important or another special purpose. So here we are not looking at those special purpose financial reporting. Here we are looking at general purpose financial reporting, not the special purpose financial reporting. Are you clear? Right? Here we are referring on that. Okay. Right. That's why it talks about general purpose financial reporting. You should be clear on those things. Right. Now, let's get this point. The objective of general purpose financial reporting is to provide, now the important point, underline this, financial information about the reporting entity that is useful to existing and potential investors, lenders, and other creditors in making decisions related to providing resources to the entity. You understand this? General purpose financial reporting is to provide financial information about the reporting entity that is useful, right? That is useful sorry that is useful to existing and potential investors. So mainly existing and potential investors, lenders, and other creditors in making decisions relating to providing resources to the entity. So it talks about what? Whom? The people who funded the resources to that particular business. Financial information about the reporting entity that is useful to existing and potential investors, lenders, and other creditors in making decisions relating to providing resources to the entity. Right? Those decisions are about buying, selling, and holding equity and debt instruments, providing or settling loans and other forms of credits, or exercising rights to vote on or otherwise influence management actions that affect the use of entities' economic resources. So very simply, it talks about buying and selling of shares and all that, providing or settling loans, right? So to the company, form of credit, and the exercising rights as a voting power. So you can, if you have the voting shares or shares in the company, you have a voting power. So for those things, these informations will be provided. So that is the objective or the purpose of general financial reporting, right? Those are the objectives or the purposes of general financial reporting, right? Are you clear on this? So this is what a revised conceptual framework which was effective from 1st January 2020 is talking about on the general purpose financial reporting, right? Objectives of general purpose financial reporting, right? Then I'm moving to the qualitative characteristics of useful financial information. Already I have discussed what are the qualitative characteristics and why these qualitative characteristics of financial information are important, and what are the enhancing qualitative characteristics. So therefore I just go through with that. So relevance, what do you mean by relevance? Relevant financial information is capable of making difference in the decision made by users. Information may be capable of making a difference in a decision even if some users choose not to take advantage or it are already aware of it from other sources. So therefore, financial information is capable of making difference in decisions if it has predictive value. And again, confirmatory value or both. What do you mean by predictive value and confirmatory value? Predictive value talks about the future, predictions. Based on these financial informations, you can predict the future. Because that is what the potential investors, that is what shareholders are important, not the past. What is the present and what is the future? So these informations are relevant. Somebody will put some ticks and all that. Don't do that. So it's disturbing, right? That is important for the all shareholders, all stakeholders to make use of these informations. Predictive ability, forecasting ability, අනාගතය පිළිබඳ අවශ්‍ය තොරතුරු සම්පාදනය කිරීමට අවශ්‍ය තොරතුරු තමයි මෙතනින් සම්පාදනය කරන්නේ මේ financial informations relevant නම්. What do you mean by confirmatory value? Right? It talks about the verifiability. මේ තොරතුරු verify කරන්න පුළුවන්. verify කරනවා කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? සාක්ෂි සහිත ඔප්පු කරන්න පුළුවන් ඇත්තටම මේ company එකේ sales මෙච්චරයි. මේ company එකේ purchase මෙච්චරයි. You can verify those things. You can prove that. That's a confirmatory. Right? You can confirm it. තහවුරු කළ හැකි. අපිට relevant financial information අපේ තියෙනවා නම් ඒවයි තියෙන ප්‍රධාන ලක්ෂණ දෙකක් තමයි predictive ability එකයි, ඒ කියන්නේ forecast කරන්න පුළුවන් ability එකයි. ඒ වගේම ඒක confirm කරන්න පුළුවන් confirmatory power එකක් තියෙනවා. Right? Okay. Right. So that is what is called relevance. Right. The next point is faithful representation. Faithful representation is talking about what? Complete, neutral, and free from errors. Complete කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? සම්පූර්ණ තොරතුරු. Neutral and free from errors. සාධාරණ neutral කියන්නේ අපක්ෂපාතී. Free from errors. Errors වලින් නිදහස් විය යුතුයි. Unbiased, complete, neutral information. That is coming from faithful representation. Okay. Then enhancing qualitative characteristics, already I discussed. Comparability, verifiability. Comparability කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? You should be able to compare. For you to compare, what is the requirement? Fundamental requirement. Compare කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ consistency තිබුණොත් විතරයි. Keep that point in your mind. You have to make sure that. Verifiability already I have discussed. Can be proved. මේ information prove කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒක තමයි අපි අර relevance වලදී කතා කරේ. Right? Relevance වලදී කතා කරේ the verifiability and the confirmatory power, predictive power, and the timeliness. Again, it comes for the relevance. Timeliness. Timeliness means what? Timely අපිට information ලබා දෙන්න. අපිට පරක් වෙලා information දීලා වැඩක් නැහැ. We should give the information in the correct time. On time we have to give that. That's why now in the reports, in the softwares now, just year end is 31st March, then 1st of April you will get the set of financial statements. At least at the end of the year, immediately after the end of the year, or even monthly you will find the accounts. You will find the accounts monthly, in quarterly, in semi-annually, even weekly. You will get the set of financial statements. Right? Then understandability. Classifying, characterizing, and presenting information clearly and concisely makes it understandable. As we discussed, these financial informations have been referred by different parties. Different parties. They want to make sure that they are working on this, and they will understand these things, and they will make use of these informations for their decision making process. Right? For them to do that, they should understand these financial informations. Right? Therefore, understandability is really important. Right? Those are the qualitative characteristics, and again, enhancing qualitative characteristics where the management should comply with when they are preparing the financial statements. Right. Then objective and scope of financial statements. Earlier what I have discussed, objectives of general purpose financial reporting. Don't mix it up. Now I'm talking about objective of financial statements and the scope of the financial statements. The objective of financial statement is to provide, keep that point in your mind, is to provide financial information about the reporting entities, assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses that is useful to users of financial statements in assessing the prospects for future net cash inflows to the reporting entity and in assessing management stewardship of the entity's economic resources. You should understand this. So this is the technical jargon mentioned there, but I will make it clear for you. Now let's say like this: providing financial information about the reporting entity, assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses. What are those? Those are the elements of financial statements. Right? I will discuss later on in detail with the definitions of those. Right? Assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses. Right. Provide financial information about the reporting entities. assets, liabilities, and equity. Where do you talk about these three? In the statement of financial position. Income and expenses where? In where? In your profit or loss and other comprehensive income statement. Yes or no? So talking about those things. That is useful to users of financial statements. That is useful to users of financial statements in assessing the prospects for future net cash flows. අපි ඇසෙස් කරන්න අපි තක්සේරු කරන්න ඕනේ අනාගත මුදල් ප්‍රවාහයන් ශුද්ධ මුදල් ප්‍රවාහයන් මොනවද මේ කම්පැනිට එන සහ අයිතිකරුවන්ගේ බාරකාරීත්වය මේ ආයතනය සම්බන්ධයෙන් තියෙන අයිතිකරුවන්ගේ බාරකාරීත්වය මොකද ස්ටුවර්ඩ්ෂිප් අයිතිකරුවන්ගේ බාරකාරීත්වය shareholdersලාගේ බාරකාරීත්වය of the entity's economic resources ආර්ථික සම්පත් සම්බන්ධයෙන් අයිතිකරුවන්ගේ බාරකාරත්වය සහ අනාගත ශුද්ධ මුදල් ප්‍රවාහයන්ගේ විභවතාවය prospects පිළිබඳව තක්සේරු කිරීම එහෙම නැත්නම් ඇස්තමේන්තු කිරීම මේ කියන financial statements හරහා එතන ඒ financial statements වල තියෙන්නේ මොනවද assets liabilities equity income and expenses අන්න ඒ තොරතුරු සම්පාදනය කිරීමේ ක්‍රියාවලියට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ objectives of financial statements කියලා. නැවතත් මම කියන්න අපි මූල්‍ය තොරතුරු සම්පාදනය කරන්න ඕනේ ව්‍යාපාර ආයතනයේ වත්කම් වගකීම් ආදායම් වියදම් සහ හිමිකම් සම්බන්ධයෙන් සහ ඒත් එක්කම අපි මේ තොරතුරු වලින් ඇස්තමේන්තු කරන්න ඕනේ ව්‍යාපාරයට අනාගතයේ ලැබිය යුතු සහ ලැබිය හැකි ශුද්ධ මුදල් ප්‍රවාහයන් ඒ වගේම මේ ව්‍යාපාර ආයතනයේ අයිතිකරුවන්ගේ ආර්ථික සම්පත් සම්බන්ධයෙන් පවතින බාරකාරීත්වය. මෙන්න මේක තමයි මූල්‍ය ප්‍රකාශනවල ප්‍රධානම අරමුණ වෙන්නේ. මූල්‍ය ප්‍රකාශනවල අරමුණ. Right. The objective of financial statement is to provide financial information about the reporting entities, assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses that is useful to users of financial statements in assessing the prospects for future net cash inflows to the reporting entity and in assessing the management's stewardship of the entity's economic resources. Right? Right. ඒක ඊළඟ අනුකාරණා තියෙනවා නමුත් අරක තමයි ප්‍රධාන දේ. එතකොට මේ information provide කරනවා අපි මම ඉස්සෙල්ලා කිව්වා වගේ financial position by recognizing assets liabilities equity financial performance by recognizing income and expenses in other statements notes මේ අනිකුත් තොරතුරු ඔක්කොම අපි සම්පාදනය කරනවා. ඒක තමයි මෙතන කියලා තියෙන්නේ. Right. As I mentioned, going concern assumption. Already we discussed. When we are preparing the financial statements, we are making the assumption that the company is running for the foreseeable future. The company is continuing for the foreseeable future. Right? Based on that, we will prepare a set of financial statements. If we are not having that assumption, we cannot have non-current assets and current assets. We cannot have current liabilities and non-current liabilities. Because if we don't have any going concern, if the business is winding up in next month's time, in next week's time, what can happen? All non-current assets come in under what? Classified as the current assets. Right? That may be non-current assets held for sale. There is account standard on that as well. Right? So there is no such classification as non-current and current. So all are coming under current. So that's why going concern is a basic underlying assumption when we are preparing the financial statements. But again, if we know that as the management, there is no such going concern for this business, we cannot maintain this assumption. We have to prepare the financial statements as making the point that there is no going concern for this business. Therefore, all assets and liabilities coming under current assets or current liabilities. Based on that, we are prepared the financial statements. Foreseeable future කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? For the අපිට සිංහල වචන මම හරියටම දන්නේ නමුත් for continuing for the next period of time. අපි කියන්නේ අඛණ්ඩ කාල පරිච්ඡේදයක් කියලා අවිචින්න කාලයක් කියලා ඔය සිංහලෙන් කියනවා. But අපි කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අනාගත කාල පරිච්ඡේදයක් දක්වා. අනාගත කාල පරිච්ඡේදයක් දක්වා. right. හැබැයි ඒක අපි assumption එක තමයි මේක අනාගත කාල පරිච්ඡේදයක් දක්වා මේක මේ business එක run වෙනවා. right. If there is no such, yes, if there is no such going concern for this business, yes, you have to disclose it. You have to disclose it. It's required. It's required. It's required. Right? So that's how it goes. Right. So this is the going concern assumption, and this is a fundamental principle. This is a fundamental principle. So where you want to comply with while you are preparing the financial statements. This is in the what do you call that, conceptual framework. Are you clear on this? Any comments? Any comment? So far, any comments? Yes, make your comments. Are you clear? Are you okay? So with that, I am moving to the very important point. Yes, any more? Yes. Right. Right. Now this is again important point, because in your A level, if there is no going concern for a firm, how can you disclose it? That's why you have the accounting notes. And accounting notes, you can disclose it. And again, auditors also disclose that one in the audit report as well. So as the management, you can disclose that one under this accounting notes. Even there is a note for the going concern. So in the annual report, so if there is even there is a going concern, there is a note in the annual report. So we assume that the business is continuing for the foreseeable future. That note is there. And as such, if there is no such going concern, you can make the assumption that, so we believe that this business is not having a going concern in the future. Accordingly, we will prepare a set of financial statements based on that assumption. So likewise, you can disclose it, right? Right. Okay. Any more questions? Right. Now with that, I will move on to the another very important point. So because already you know the definition on assets, the definition on liabilities, the definitions on income, expenses, equity, all these 5 elements of financial statements, you know the definitions as well. But what you know is changed now with the revised conceptual framework. The definitions have been changed. So therefore, now you should learn the revised definitions, not the previous ones. Even in your exam, you don't get any marks for the previous definitions. You will get the definitions, new definitions as per the new conceptual framework, you will get the marks. So therefore, forget about the previous knowledge on this, definitions on financial elements or elements of financial statements. So asset, what do you mean by asset? As per the new definition, with the time I will move on to that. A present economic resource controlled by the entity as a result of past event. A present economic resource. Very important. It talks about a present economic resource controlled by the entity as a result of past events. So the important word is control. So does it talk about the ownership? Does it talk about the ownership? In other words, for you to recognize asset in your set of financial statements, is there any compulsory requirement to have the ownership? No. Very good example is lease assets. Even you are having that lease assets, you don't have the absolute ownership. We'll discuss later on in detail with the new lease standard. At the moment, I just give you the example. You don't have ownership. Absolute ownership is with the finance company or the bank. But we have the right to use that particular asset, right? So that means we have the controlling power. We are having the controlling power. We are controlling that particular resource. So with that, even we don't have the ownership, we will recognize that as an asset in the business. Yes or no? So therefore, ownership is not required compulsory for you to recognize the asset. That's why even the definition is talking about a present economic resource controlled by the entity as a result of past event. Okay? Right? Right. So therefore, an economic resource is a right that has the potential to produce economic benefits. What do you mean by economic resource? Is a right that has the potential to produce economic benefits. That has a potential. Let's say, machine. Is it having the right? Yes. Right to produce the economic benefits? Yes. So let's say, you have leased an building for you to do the manufacturing process. Leased out a building. Now, you have the ownership? No. But are you controlling that particular asset for that particular period? Yes or no? Yes. Then again, that building will help you to produce the economic benefits? Yes or no? Put into this definition. Yes. Then it will give the economic resources. Even there is no such ownership for you to, having the legal ownership, but still you have the right to use that particular asset. So therefore, that can be recognized as an asset. So that is the definition for asset. Are you clear? This is the most important point. Right. So with that, I am moving to the next point, liability. A present obligation of the entity to transfer an economic resource as a result of past event. A present obligation of the entity to transfer an economic resource as a result of past event. I will put into an example like this. You have a bank loan. You already received a bank loan. Then, do you have a present obligation? Yes. What's the present obligation? You want to pay the loan installment. A present obligation of the entity to transfer an economic resource. Then you have to transfer the economic resource. You have to pay the installment. Through what? Through cash or through any other electronic media. You have to pay economic resources, you have to transfer. As a result of past event, what's the past event? You have already got the loan. Right? So therefore, you have that present obligation to pay the installment. So if you are paying that, when you are paying that, you have to use your cash. So then your economic resources will be, transferred. Because of the loan you have already taken, 1 year back or 2 years back. So that is the definition for liability. Right? Then the definition for equity. There is no such change for this definition. Equity is nothing new. The basic definition on that is the residual interest in the asset of the entity after deducting all its liabilities. So equity equals, as you know, equity equal net assets in your set of financial statements. So what do you mean by equity? The amount invested by the shareholders plus the reserves they have. In other words, stated capital plus reserves. Stated capital plus reserves equal what? Net assets. Net assets means total assets minus total liabilities. Then that definition is taken into consideration in the conceptual framework. The residual interest. In the residual interest කියන මොකද්ද? ඉතිරි වන ශේෂය in the assets of the entity after deducting all its liabilities. මුළු වත්කම් වලින් මුළු වගකීම් අඩු කරපුවාම ඉතුරු වුණා කිය. ඒක තමයි ශුද්ධ වත්කම්. ඒක තමයි equity කියන්නේ. Right? That is the definition given for that. Now again important point in income. So just recall on your accounting equation. Accounting equation. Right? Right. For an income, what are the components that can be changed in your accounting equation? Definitely equity should be increased. Yes or no? Yes. Equity should be increased. Then assets should be increased. Or liabilities should be decreased. Liabilities should be decreased. Right? For you to recognize a revenue, asset should be increased or liability should be reduced. On the other hand, definitely equity should be increased. Equity should be increased. Yes or no? Yes. But this situation can happen when? This situation can happen when the shareholders are investing additional capital to the business as well. So therefore, that is not an income. That part should be reduced. That part should be eliminated. That part should be eliminated. So therefore, your definition is for the income, increase in assets or decrease in liabilities that result in increase in equity, other than those related to contributions from the holders of equity claims. එකයි මංගේ අයිතිකරුවන්ගේ ප්‍රාග්ධන යෙදවීම් හැර වත්කම් වල වැඩිවීමක් හෝ වගකීම් වල අඩුවීමක්, ඒ වගේම අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම හිමිකමේ වැඩිවීමක් සිදුවිය යුතුයි. අන්න ඒ අවස්ථාවේ තමයි ආදායමක් හඳුනාගත හැක්කේ. හැබැයි හැර අයිතිකරුවන්ගේ අතිරේක ප්‍රාග්ධන යෙදවීම් හැර මෙන්න මේ අවස්ථාවේ තමයි අපිට ඉන්කම් එකක් හඳුනා ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. right. මේකෙම අනිත් පැත්ත තමයි එක්ස්පෙන්ස් එක. එක්ස්පෙන්ස් එකේදී what can happen? Decrease in assets or increase in liabilities that result in decrease in equity. That result in decrease in equity other than those relating to distribution to holders of equity claims. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම වත්කම් වල අඩුවීමක් හෝ වගකීම් වල වැඩිවීමක් සිදුවිය යුතුයි. ඒ වගේම අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම හිමිකමේ අඩුවීමක් සිදුවිය යුතුයි. හැබැයි එක ගනුදෙනුවක් හැර අයිතිකරුවන්ගේ බෙදා හැරීම හැර. ඒ කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍ය පොඩි සුළු මේ තනි ව්‍යාපාරයක හරි හවුල් ව්‍යාපාරයක හරි අයිතිකරුවන්ගේ ගැනිලි, එහෙම නැත්නම් සමාගමක නම් ගැනිලි නෙමෙයි තියෙන ඩිවිඩන්ඩ්ස්. right? මේවා හැර. මේ තත්ත්වයන් හැර අනිකුත් සියලුම ගනුදෙනු වලදී සිදුවන වත්කම් වල අඩුවීමක් හෝ වගකීම් වල වැඩිවීමක්, ඒ වගේම හිමිකමේ අනිවාර්ය අඩුවීමක් අපි හඳුනා ගන්නවා මොකක් විදියටද? මොකක් විදියටද? right? මොකක් විදියටද? as the expense. right? as the expense. right? This is the new definitions on elements of financial statements. Those are assets, income, expenses, liabilities, and equity. Those are the 5 definitions. So somebody put some marks here and there, so that will be displayed, but don't do that. Right. Final point. So assets, liabilities, income and expenses and equity should be recognized in the set of financial statements. How do you recognize that? So all accounting standards are talking about those aspects, but the fundamental principle for you to recognize these things in your set of financial statements, assets, income, expenses, liabilities, and equity. Those 5 components. What's the requirement? Requirement is to recognize those things, to recognize in the financial statement. Again, I'm repeating, the requirement is to make sure those elements are satisfying the what? Satisfying the definition. Nothing new. Satisfying the definition. Satisfying the definition. Right? Satisfying the definition. Right? Satisfying the definition. So, in other words, for you to recognize assets as assets in your set of financial statements, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses in your financial statements, you want to recognize those things in your set of financial statements once you satisfy these definitions. Eta man kiwe. වත්කමක් විදිහට හඳුන ගන්න නම් අර කියන economic resources වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේම මේ controlling power එක තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? ඊට පස්සේ රයිට් එක තියෙනවා අපිට යූස් කරන්න පාලනය කිරීමේ හැකියාව තියෙන්න ඕනේ. අන්න ඒ අවස්ථාවේදී අපිට ඇසට් එකක් විදිහට හඳුනා ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඉන්කම් එකක් හඳුනා ගන්න අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම වත්කම් වල වැඩිවීමක් හෝ වගකීම් වල අඩුවීමක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේම හිමිකමේ වැඩිවීමක් විය යුතුයි. හැබැයි අයිතිකරුවන්ගේ ප්‍රාග්ධන යොදවීම හැර. මෙන්න මේ ආකාරයෙන් මේ definitions satisfy වෙනවා නම් අපිට මූල්‍ය ප්‍රකාශනවල please switched off your mic. Please switch off your mics. Please switch off your mics. Please switch off your mics. I cannot proceed. Anukta or somebody. Please switch off your mics. Right? So that is the requirement. In simple terms, definition should be satisfied. Right? Making definition satisfy nona may ආදායම් වියදම් වත්කම් වගකීම් සහ හිමිකම් හඳුනා ගන්න පුළුවන් මූල්‍ය ප්‍රකාශන. මේක තමයි requirement. මේක තමයි fundamental requirement as per the conceptual framework. ඊට අමතරව මේව හඳුනා ගැනීමේ විවිධ ක්‍රම අනෙකුත් accounting standards වල කතා කරනවා. ඒවා අපි ඉදිරියේදී සාකච්ඡා කරනවා. Right? So this is what I want to discuss in today's discussion. So with the time, I just summarize on what we have discussed today. Right? So basically we discussed, okay, before moving to that, any questions so far? Any comments? Any clarification? Are you clear on this, what I have discussed today? Any comments, any clarifications? Feel free to talk. Feel free to make your comments. Yes? Yes, yes. Hope that you all are online. Yes? So, yes, are you clear on this? What I have discussed today? Right, fine. Somebody is talking about purchasing power of dollar remains relatively stable and all those stuff. So please come to the university. Once you come for this, all the questions I will answer. Does the marks for the assignments give to us affect the GPA? Yes. Okay. Right. So, right. Okay. When will be open the university? Who knows? Who knows this? Problem will when this problem will be getting over in the country first. So when we come back to normal situation, the university will be immediately open. මේ ලංකාවේ මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ මේ COVID-19 ප්‍රශ්නේ මේ ඉවරුණාන් පස්සේ if we come back to normal situation, immediately open the university. Until such time, no. Audit and forensic accounting, I don't have the time to talk now. Assignment, which assignment you are talking about? what we have to do in this assignment, sir? Which assignment? Which assignment you are talking about? Quiz 2? Have you done quiz, one quiz? Okay. So you can log into the quiz and you can, tick and upload. That will be automatically give you the marks. So you have to put a tick for your answers. That's all. Accounting assignment about conceptual framework, is it? No, 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 no. No assignment for the conceptual framework. Your assignment for the conceptual framework is go through with my tute, go through with the important points in the conceptual framework. That is the exercise. That is the assignment for you want to do. No any other assignment on that. For the quiz, you can work on it and tick and you will get the answers. Assignment in the sense, which month in our first exam? I don't know. Who can tell those things until we start the university and until those things can happen? There is an assignment on a framework. No assignment on framework. Only the requirement is please go through with these notes. Please understand these concepts. Please go through with the conceptual framework, what I have discussed. Please get the knowledge on those things. That's a requirement. Based on the things what I have discussed with you. Are you clear? Which month in our first exam and all that? I don't know. Who knows? Not yet scheduled anything. We can't, because so there is no such date to at least to I mean Sri Lanka to come back to the normal situation. ලංකාවේ දැන් මේක මේ ඇඳින් කර්ෆියු අයින් කරලා කවදා පටන් ගන්නවද කියලාවත් තීරණයක් නැතුව කොහොමද යුනිවර්සිටි එක්සෑම් තියෙන දවසක් තීරණය කරන්නේ? Please tell us how to analyze annual report. For what? For what? For what? Invest the stock market. In LMS there is an assignment. Where? We will give you some time, so you want to learn, you want to study, so don't worry. So just go through these things at the moment. Please work on that. Apart from that, there is a quiz in the LMS. No, do that one. That's enough at the moment. So with the times comes, we'll do some more assignments. So once the university open and all that, so don't worry about those aspects. Invest in stock markets and all the parts. We cannot tell how to analyze the annual report at the moment. So it will take, days and days to tell you how to analyze the annual reports and all that. So that's what we're supposed to do throughout these our discussions. No, මේ පාඩම් ආයි නැවත කරන්න කැම්පස් එකේ. මේක කරන්න මේක ඉවරයි. Done, finish. කරපු ආයි කරන්න repetitions no. This is a one lecture. That's all. Right. Any other questions? Any other grievances? Yes. Feel free to tell. Only thing I will upload the recorded lecture. You can view that lecture. Lecture එක ආයි බලන්න පුළුවන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට. මම මේක අප්ලෝඩ් කරනවා. තාමන ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. හරි මම before moving, so I don't at present don't we record lease assets and non-current assets. At present don't we record non-current assets යටදී තමයි lease assets record කරන්නේ. ඒක ඒ note එකට දාන්න වෙනම පෙන්නනවා. ඒවා අපි මේ lease standard එකත් එක්ක ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. Right. තාමන ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. මේ කතා කරපුවා ඕකේද මොකද මේ you should have a way. මට පේනවා කෙසුම මේ ටාගට් එක නැහැ ඔය එහෙම එක එක ඒවා අහනවා මිසක් මේ නැහැ කිසිම මේ objective oriented ගතිය. You should develop those things. Right. මේ කතා කරපු දේවල් වලින් තව මොනවද ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන්නේ? Are you okay? Are you clear on this? I lectures තියනවද? කියලා තියෙන්නේ. Do you have lectures again? Nobody is making a point. Right. So I will take another 10 minutes to wind up my discussion with that your course outline. I just talk about something on your course outline. So what you're supposed to do, and with that I will wind up the discussion. So please move on to this. Right. We'll discuss the context and the purpose financial reporting, introduction to accounting, conceptual framework for financial reporting. This is what exactly I discussed today, right? So this chapter is completed today. Then accounting systems, double entry control accounts, bank reconciliations, error identification, those things will be discussed next couple of weeks. And more importantly, then we discuss financial reporting standards like LKS 2, property, plant and equipment, LKS 16, LKS 10, LKS 18, SLFRS 16, and LKS 37, and SLFRS 15 revenue. All right. So those standards will be discussed next couple of weeks. And the preparation of financial statements for sole proprietorships and manufacturing accounts, and not-for-profit organization and partnerships and limited liability companies. So this is totally your whole, series of discussions and, whole course outline for next 13 to 14, 13 discussions. And apart from that, your assignments and all the rest of the things will be discussed later on. So by the other lecturers as well. So an online exam will be conducted for the students so that need to attempt it individually at the department. Okay, those things are there. So you have a online quiz, you can log into that. And apart from that, all the other assignments will be notified throughout the LMS and throughout other mods, right? So that's what I want to tell you. So this is the course plan for next 13 weeks, right? I think based on that, most of the things we have already discussed in your advanced level, even the some accounting standards. But here, the discussion may be different from what we have discussed, right? So the level of these discussions may be different. The language may be different. So then this will be very much important foundation for you to learn. So next, advanced financial reporting and business reporting subjects in next 2-3 years to come. So this may be the foundation. Don't just allow to go the things the way that they want. Please get your knowledge, get please work hard. So this is the time where you want to develop your skills, technical and professional skills. As I mentioned, the profession is very much challenging. The skill set where we want to develop is going to be transformed from preparation to the decision making, analysis, interpretation, and communication by considering the big data. So as I mentioned, and we are more focusing on technically sound as well as professionally skilled accountants and the finance directors for the businesses. So that's the requirement from the industry. For we as the accountants, we as the student accountants, we want to familiarize with that requirement and we want to develop our skills, right? For you to do that, we will support you. For you to develop by yourself, we will support you. So please work like that, right? So this is what I want to tell you in my today's discussion. So with that, I will wind up my discussion. So I will upload this, and thank you very much for your active participation. So we'll see you on next couple of weeks. So with our lectures. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, with that, I will wind up my discussion. Thank you. We'll meet you on, I don't know whether next Saturday we'll have the lectures. I don't know. Anyway, you will inform about that. So if you have, I will send the Zoom link, right? And even that will be in the LMS as well. Right. Thank you very much.